Okay, let's dive into this feeling. It's really common, right? You've been working super hard, maybe you got that raise you wanted, or you finally paid off some big debt like student loans.
Yeah,
You should feel like you're doing okay financially, maybe even getting ahead.
definitely. You'd expect that.
But then, halfway through the month, you glance at your bank account and bam, that old stress creeps back in. Where did the money go? Why does it still feel like I'm playing catch up?
It's incredibly stressful. And look, the key thing we found in the research, the most important point really, is that this feeling, this scarcity, it's usually not about your worth. It's not even always about not having enough income. It's almost always down to a few specific, kind of subtle, automated system failures. Things built into how we spend money these days. And they operate totally under the radar. Invisible.
Right. And I think the big mistake people often make is thinking, oh no, I need a budget. Like
Yeah.
a super strict, painful one where I track every single coffee.
The spreadsheet of doom.
It's exactly forcing yourself into misery. But the sources suggest you don't need that kind of pain. What you really need is precision, awareness. So our mission today in this deep dive is to cut through all that noise. We're going to expose these 3 specific silent killers in your budget. These leaks just draining your cash daily.
Yeah, day in, day out.
And then, crucially, we'll give you the simple, actionable fix for each one, straight from the analysis.
And these killers, they're clever. They're really reinforced by, behavioral psychology, market engineering. They make us feel comfortable right now.
The immediate gratification thing.
Exactly. Sacrificing future flexibility. They just run on autopilot.
Yeah.
And if you can't name them, you can't stop them. We're talking about potentially reclaiming thousands of dollars a year just by switching off that automation.
Okay, let's get into it. Silent killer number 1. We found this behavior just wipes out extra cash faster than pretty much anything else. We're calling it the convenience tax.
It's exactly what it says on the tin, really. The convenience tax is that hidden fee, the extra money you choose to pay, just to avoid 5 or 10 minutes of really minimal effort.
Just 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, often that's all it is. And it represents the highest percentage markup you'll probably pay on anything all year.
Wow. And what makes it so insidious, so sneaky, is that it's not one big purchase you remember, right?
Yep.
It's tied to this constant stream of tiny decisions, often emotional ones, like I'm tired, I deserve this, or I'm busy, just making your day feel a tiny bit easier right now.
And today's economy, it's perfectly set up to cash in on that desire for zero effort. I mean, think about ordering takeout. That $20 meal you order because you just don't want to spend 20 minutes cooking.
Happen all the time.
Instantly, the price jumps. You've got the delivery fee, maybe a service fee, sometimes a small order fee, plus the tip. That $20 meal easily becomes $30.
Okay, I see that $30 number, and part of me thinks, yeah, $10 extra, that's just, the cost of getting food delivered.
Right.
But when you put it as a percentage, that's a 50% markup just for convenience. That's huge.
It is huge. And the research points out why we accept it. It's something called small dollar bias.
Small dollar bias.
Yeah, because it's like a $5 fee here, a $7 fee there. Our brain doesn't really add it all up effectively. We just focus on the immediate win. Food magically appears. I save myself 5-10 minutes. But if you're doing that, say, just 3 times a week, that's an extra $150 a month, over $1,800 a year. Gone, purely on service charges and fees.
Wow. So the key takeaway is that the tiny bit of effort we save right now costs us actual financial leverage later. And it's everywhere, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
It's the $5 fee for using that out-of-network ATM right on the corner instead of walking like one more block to your own bank's free one.
Or paying maybe 50% more for pre-cut pineapple at the grocery store saves you maybe 90 seconds with a knife.
Guilty as charged on that one sometimes. We're literally trading future wealth that could be compounding for a tiny bit of comfort right this second.
That's the exchange rate. Exactly. And the market has engineered these little friction points. Like, you know how they often hide the real total delivery costs until the very last checkout screen?
Ugh, yes, hate that.
They do that deliberately. They know you've already spent time browsing the menu, building your order. You're invested. So you're less likely to back out over a few extra bucks in fees at the very end.
Okay, so it's about these tiny decisions, often when we're tired or rushed. How do we fight back? How do we build, a mental defense?
You need a simple rule. We call it the 5-minute rule. It's like an immediate pause button.
Okay.
Before you hit confirm order or swipe your card for something with an obvious convenience fee or premium, you just pause. And you ask yourself this one question. Can I reasonably do this myself in less than 5 minutes?
Simple question. So can I grab a snack from the kitchen instead of hitting the vending machine? Can I chop that onion myself? Can I walk that extra block to the free ATM?
Exactly. If the answer is yes, commit to doing it yourself. And look, this isn't about being a martyr or making life hard. It's about valuing your time and your money equally.
Okay.
The sources actually strongly recommend trying this. For just 1 week, track every single convenience fee you avoid or that you pay. Just notice them, add them up.
Just for a week.
Just 1 week. The total sum is usually so surprising, maybe even shocking, that it gives you instant motivation to change that habit. It's honestly the fastest way to find and reclaim hundreds of dollars leaking out of your budget. Money you're losing before you even think about your real spending.
That feels really tangible. A great place to start. Okay, let's shift gears. Silent killer number 2, this one. This one's trickier, maybe stealthier, because, weirdly, it often kicks in when things are actually going well for you financially.
Yeah, that's the irony.
It's called lifestyle creep.
This one can be devastating precisely because it hides behind the mask of success. Lifestyle creep is simply when your baseline spending automatically goes up to match whatever new income you have.
Right.
You get a raise, great. You pay off a big loan, fantastic. But instead of saving or investing that difference, that new margin, you immediately upgrade. Bigger apartment, fancier car payment, eating out more expensive hobbies.
And the core issue here, which the source material really nails, is that your income went up, yes, but your margin, that vital gap between what you earn and what you spend, stays exactly the same, or sometimes even shrinks.
Precisely. And this explains that huge financial paradox we see all the time. Why someone earning, say, $150,000 a year can feel just as stressed about money, just as paycheck to paycheck, as they did when they were making $50,000.
Yeah, I've heard that from people. It seems crazy, but...
It's because every new dollar that hits the checking account is instantly seen as available spending money. And it gets swallowed up by a new necessity, whether that's, I don't know, a fancy subscription box or just a higher standard for vacations that becomes the new normal.
Okay, but let me push back slightly here, because I know someone listening might be thinking this.
Go for it.
Hang on, I worked my tail off for that promotion. 60-hour weeks, maybe. If I finally get the raise, isn't it kind of defeating the purpose if I don't use some of that extra money to, enjoy life a bit more?
Yeah.
Reduce some stress? What do the sources say about finding that balance? Reward versus saving?
That's a really important question, and the psychological trap is deep. Our brain defaults to, I worked hard, I earned this, I deserve to relax and upgrade my life.
Right. Seems logical.
But the definition of real financial freedom, according to this research, isn't just about having nicer things. It's about maximizing your options, your time. If you use that entire raise to just inflate your lifestyle, you haven't actually bought more freedom. You've just built yourself a more expensive cage that required you to keep working just as hard or harder to maintain it.
A more expensive cage. That's a stark way to put it. So the immediate feeling of reward is actually working against the long-term goal, which is flexibility and freedom.
Exactly. The goal isn't just earning more, it's systematically creating more margin. That gap is where the freedom lies. So we need like a behavioral firewall, something to protect that margin before the money even lands in your regular checking account where it just disappears on autopilot.
Okay, a firewall. I like that. What's the fix? How do we build it?
It's called the 50-50 rule for raises.
Yeah.
It's very straightforward. When you get any kind of net increase, a salary raise, a bonus, maybe a debt gets paid off, freeing up cash flow, you must pre-commit 50% of that new money directly to your future self.
Pre-commit, meaning decide before it even feels like spending money, right? Set it up automatically.
Absolutely critical. That 50% needs to be automatically diverted straight into long-term savings, investments, maybe extra payments on high-interest debt. Its power comes from behavioral economics. Automate the decision. If the money is swept away before you really feel it, you avoid the decision fatigue, you remove the temptation later on, you make the hard choice once, up front, and then the system does the work for you.
And the other 50%, that's not just locked away.
No, that's the crucial other half. The remaining 50% is yours. That's the designated fun money for a controlled lifestyle upgrade.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a slightly better gym membership, or nicer clothes, or eating out a bit more often. This part is really important for making it stick psychologically. You get to feel the reward of your success.
Right, so it doesn't feel like total deprivation.
Exactly. But you're doing it in a structured way that guarantees you are systematically increasing that gap, that margin between income and expenses. Because if you're not actively increasing that margin, you're just running faster in the same place, just with a higher salary.
That makes so much sense. A system designed to build actual wealth, defined as that growing gap. Okay, let's move to the final silent killer, this one. This one often feels the most personal, maybe the most painful, because it's so tied up in emotion and social stuff. Silent killer number 3, the identity spending trap.
Yeah, this one cuts deep. This trap is when we buy things not really for what they do, their utility, or because we genuinely need them, but purely to signal something.
Signal what?
Status, maybe, success, belonging. We're trying to project a certain image either to other people, our friends, colleagues, or maybe even just to ourselves to match some idealized version of who we think we should be.
Okay. So it's that social pressure that makes you agree to go to the super expensive restaurant with friends, even though you're secretly worrying about the bill.
Exactly that. Or, trading in a perfectly good, reliable 3-year-old car just because the newer model signals, I've moved up in the world.
Or accumulating a massive wardrobe for a lifestyle you don't actually live, maybe.
All classic examples. We're essentially buying projection instead of actual contentment. And the real cost, it's sacrificing that quiet internal financial piece for what is often just fleeting external validation.
Mm-hmm.
The trap often lies in the maintenance, too. If your stuff, the big house, the fancy car, the designer clothes, if it forces you to work longer hours, take on more stress just to keep it all going, then you don't own it.
It owns you.
It owns you.
Yeah.
You become like a curator for your debt and your objects rather than the master of your own time and choices.
That's powerful. And the sources talked about this difference between internal validation things that bring real joy versus external validation, which just brings temporary status.
Mm-hmm.
How do we even begin to break that cycle? It feels so ingrained socially.
It is ingrained. So you have to force an honest look in the mirror. The fix here is something called the reverse audit.
Reverse audit. Okay.
The whole goal is to reconnect your spending decisions surgically with what brings you genuine, lasting joy and what is actually necessary. We're trying to pinpoint the things that look good, high status maybe, but deliver surprisingly low actual happiness.
Okay, how do we do this audit? What are the steps?
You need to look back maybe over the last year or so. Identify your, say, 5 most expensive non-essential purchases.
Non-essential, meaning?
Things that weren't strictly required for your basic survival, your health, or doing your current job. Could be a gadget upgrade you didn't strictly need, a really expensive jacket, maybe a trip that kind of broke the bank and wasn't, essential.
Got it. 5 big non-essential buys, then what?
Then, for each of those 5 items, you're going to rate it. On a simple scale, say 1 to 10. But in 2 very specific categories.
Okay, first category.
First category is actual joy. This isn't about the thrill you got the moment you bought it. No, this is about the genuine long-term happiness it brought you. 6 months later, are you still regularly getting significant joy from it? Did it fundamentally improve your day-to-day life? That's the actual joy score.
Okay, actual joy, 1 to 10. And the second category?
Second category is necessity. Again, 1 to 10. How truly essential was this item for your life, your health, your ability to earn a living? Be really honest here.
Right. So actual joy and necessity. Rate the 5 items. What usually happens when people do this?
Well, when you perform this audit honestly, you almost always uncover a pretty clear, sometimes painful pattern. It often highlights something called hedonic adaptation.
That's the idea that we get used to new things really quickly, right? The shiny new thing becomes normal fast.
Exactly. That new car, that expensive gadget,
Yeah.
it only gives you that new and exciting buzz for maybe a few weeks, maybe a couple of months. Then it just becomes your baseline. It's normal, and often you're already looking towards the next upgrade.
Yeah.
So what the reverse audit typically reveals is that the items bought primarily for identity, for signaling, they score really high on cost, obviously, but they often score tragically low on both actual joy, long-term, and necessity.
Ouch.
It starkly shows you where you traded your time, your money, your future freedom for projection, for looking a certain way, rather than building quiet contentment.
That is powerful because it shifts the focus entirely. It's not about judging what you bought, but getting honest about why you bought it. And if the real goal isn't just to look rich, but to actually be rich in terms of having options, having time, having less stress, then we have to identify the spending that's actively stealing those resources from us.
And this is often the quietest killer, the hardest one to face, because it taps right into our self-worth, our self-esteem. We spend money trying to bridge that gap between who we genuinely are and who we feel society, or maybe just we ourselves think we should be.
Okay, so let's recap. We've broken down these 3 silent killers that undermine financial progress. First, the convenience tax trading future money for tiny bits of present ease.
That 5-minute rule is key there.
Second, lifestyle creep, letting your spending automatically rise to eat up any income increase, keeping your margins stuck.
Yep, the 50-50 rule for raises fights that.
And third, the identity spending trap, buying things to signal status instead of for real joy or need, sacrificing peace for projection.
The reverse audit helps expose that one.
The good news, though, as we've talked about, is that these aren't character flaws. They're mostly system defaults. They're habits.
And habits can definitely be broken. You just need to install better rules, better systems. Look, financial freedom, it's not usually about one big win like a lottery ticket. It's the sum total of lots of small, intentional decisions that consistently protect and grow that margin we talked about.
So if you're listening now and wondering, okay, where do I even start? This feels like a lot. What's the advice?
The advice from the sources is pretty clear. Start with the convenience tax. It's often the easiest to tackle first.
Why is that?
Because the 5-minute rule is so simple to implement immediately. And because those little fees add up so incredibly fast, you'll likely see a tangible financial difference, maybe even within a week or two. That quick win builds momentum. It fuels your motivation to then tackle the bigger, perhaps more ingrained habits like lifestyle creep or identity spending.
Makes sense. Get some runs on the board early.
Exactly. If the whole point of getting better with money is to maximize your future options, your flexibility, your time, basically to speed up your path to whatever freedom means for you, then you absolutely need to know which silent forces are working against you right now.
Okay, so here's the final thought we want to leave you with, something to chew on after this deep dive. Thinking about your own life, your own spending. Which of these 3 silent killers, the convenience tax, lifestyle creep, or identity spending, which one do you suspect is currently costing you the most? The most time, the most flexibility, the most future options.
Just pick one. Identify that single biggest leak for you right now.
And then commit this week to taking just one action, using the specific fix we discussed to start reversing it. Just one thing. The clarity you gain, and maybe even the cash you find, it might really surprise you.
Subscribe and hit the like button for more deep dive like this. Tell us what you think in the comment section.